When you think about it, luxury cars should be the easiest to transition from an ICE to an EV setup, right? Because conceptually at least, what you want in a luxury car is this. You want easy speed, check. You want a quiet car, check. You want lots and lots of space. Well, in the case of the Mercedes EQS 500, possibly check. And if you want added exclusivity, this is a check as well, because let's face it, at the upper end of the EV scale these days, every Tom, Dick and Harry has a Porsche Taycan, whereas the EQS is slowly turning out to be quite the left field choice indeed. Which is weird when you consider that the default luxury car in this segment is the Mercedes S-Class, and the EQS, well, that can be sort of considered as a cousin to the S-Class, even though they sit on separate dedicated platforms. In any case, let's say you have 650,000 ringgit burning a hole in your pocket and you want a luxury EV. So, is the Mercedes EQS 500 your next perfect car? Let's find out. Let's begin with how the EQS looks. So at the office, we have a term for it, and it's called the jelly bean, what with its smooth, pebble-like silhouette. Now, there's a reason for this shape compared to the traditional box sedan of the S-Class. You see, because the EQS, when it was launched, it was one of the, if not the most aerodynamically efficient production cars with a drag coefficient of just 0.2. Nerdy numbers aside, how does it all make me feel? So let's see. On the EQS 500, we have the electric art trim versus the AMG line. So first off, there's a lot more chrome and the wheels have gone down from 21-inch to 20-inch as previously seen on the EQS 450 Plus. All in all, it's a lot less aggressive than the 450 Plus and more in line with the subdued luxury-oriented feel of the EQS, I feel. I mean, you still get the hallmarks, don't get me wrong. The digital LEDs in front, with the strip running across the entire bonnet, the 3D star, the intricately designed and concealed door handles, all the way to the back with this full-width LED light bar. It's all still there. It's just a lot less flashier than the BMW i7 if you ask me. Pop open the hands-free tailgate and you are greeted with over 600 liters of luggage space. And because it's a fastback, this is the best part of all. The loading aperture is way bigger than the traditional sedan shape of the S-Class. So loading in a 20 and 24-inch luggage set side by side is not an issue at all. And with a range of 696 kilometers quoted at least, long road trips in the EQS shouldn't be an issue at all. Stepping inside, it's quite overwhelming to be honest. Personally, for me, I've always preferred my interiors to be a bit more minimalist in their presentation and nature, but if you are on the other side of the fence, then you'll love this setup. The star of the show is, of course, the MBUX Hyperscreen with a setup that dominates the entire dash of the car from pillar to pillar. So, it consists of 3 screens, and right ahead of me, the driver's display, that's 12.3 inches. The middle one measures 17.7 inches, while the third one for the front passenger, that's also 12.3 inches. Sounds and looks intimidating, but with the zero-layer concept, important controls are never hidden behind sub-menus after sub-menus. So, is it really that straightforward? To a certain extent, yes. There's still some getting used to, but it's nothing too complex. Okay, biggest example for this are the aircon controls, the AC controls, alright? They are always in view and always on display. They are never hidden behind submenus, so you don't always have to go swiping here, swiping there, dragging this down, dragging that up to change the AC controls while you are driving. Would I have preferred physical buttons for the AC? Yes, definitely, 110%. But remember, I still use a mechanical watch to tell the time, so it shows how old-fashioned I am. Other nice bits include wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with a 3D Burmester surround sound system. It's okay. It's not as good as the Bowers & Wilkins system in the Volvo, but you know, it gets the job done. What about other workplaces? Okay, the seats. Lots of adjustment, lots of support from the sides and especially the under thigh department, which is very important, but they can feel a bit too firm for me. Still, with massage functions, cooling functions, heating functions, it's an alright place to be. So as for storage spaces, it's okay, it's above average, I would say. We don't get any cutouts near the door handles, so you can't store your cards here, but the door bins can just fit a half-liter water bottle, so that's alright. Here, below the screen, we've got, just slide this out of the way, we've got a wireless charger, 2 cup holders, a tray, and 2 USB-C ports. And then below that, there's a massive flat tray for your cards, your wallets, your keys, a lot of things. And that also comes with 2 USB ports. Now moving back, we've got this single piece of touch panel. It's not the best idea, personally speaking, because sometimes when you're changing drive modes, you can accidentally turn on the camera because, you know, they're all on one piece of plastic. In any case, moving back, pop the center armrest open and you're greeted with quite a deep storage space right here. In fact, I think it's definitely big enough to fit another half-liter bottle, and there are also 2 USB ports. Moving on to the rear. Now, that jelly bean shape means a slightly sloping roof, but I don't think headroom is particularly compromised. So just for reference, the front seat is adjusted to my driving position, of course. I'm 184 centimeters tall and I have one tennis ball worth of headroom, and safe to say two tennis balls worth of legroom. So all in all, it's not the most cramped of spaces, but it's also not the most spacious. The seats are fine. I do wish we get a bit more adjustability in terms of being able to slide the seat back and forth and also recline a lot more. Now, as for amenities back here, so rear passengers, we get our own separate climate zone for a total of 4 in the car. Vents down below and on the pillar as well. We drop this panel and we get 2 USB-C ports along with 2 HDMI ports. Then, of course, each rear passenger gets their own separate screen. And if we drop the center armrest bit, there's an MBUX tablet here and another wireless charger. Okay, storage space back here isn't as good as the ones up front, I'm afraid. So no cutouts in the door handle, can't store cards again. And the door bins barely fit a half-liter water bottle. In fact, you have to actually struggle to get it to fit in, so that's not the best. Sure, you can always pop it behind the seat pockets. There's one behind each seat anyway. And even though you get 2 cup holders nestled within the armrest, the presence of the MBUX tablet and the wireless charger means that there's not much room for anything else. All in all, it's not a terrible place to be, but I feel that it's missing that final degree of pampering and space that typical S-Class owners are used to. So on the move, now let's get the tech specs out of the way first. So the EQS 550 compared to the outgoing EQS 450 Plus, we get a dual motor setup, so all-wheel drive, for a total of 450 horsepower and 828 Newton meters of torque, so quite a lot more. Now all that translates to a 0 to 100 time of just 4.8 seconds and a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour. Battery size is 108 kilowatts per hour, and in terms of charging speed, so with AC charging at 11 kilowatts, that takes about 10 hours for a full charge, while DC charging at 200 kilowatts takes just half an hour to go from 10 to 80% state of charge. Now, as mentioned, the range is a quoted 696 kilometers. Power delivery in town you need a lot of discipline because it's quite savage. Yes, I know this is a full-size luxury EV, but the way it puts its power down instantaneously means that this is the closest thing you'll get to a teleportation device. In terms of ride comfort, well, we got the 4Matic air suspension, so it is as good as it gets. I mean, run over small potholes, speed humps, uneven surfaces, all of that. Barely any of it gets impacted and gets transmitted to the cabin at all. Unless you have the radio off, unless the aircon is at its lower setting and you're actively listening for it, good luck hearing any thuds coming from it as well. And although this is a fairly large car with the rear axle steering system, in town, all your 3-point turns, all your U-turns, the turning circle, all in all, is well within manageable levels for a car this size. So at highway speeds, the EQS is obviously in its element. I mean, high-speed stability is right up there with the best. And in terms of ride comfort at speed, it's okay. It's a bit firm. It's a bit firm, but it's not crashy over undulating roads. Now, as for high-speed handling, it's okay. Drive it with smooth steering inputs, and it's actually quite satisfying. But if you drive it any harder than that, it's gonna fail to hide its weight quite convincingly. In fact, in this regard, I think the Taycan does it better. Now, in terms of cabin noise, with double glazed windows all round and a very slippery shape to cut down on wind noise, the EQS recorded just 61 decibels at 110 km/h during WapCar's own testing. So, all in all, the EQS, it's a good high-speed cruiser. Very, very good, don't get me wrong. But I feel that the S-Class still edges it a tiny bit because it still has that added level of comfort and luxury, especially when it comes to how comfortable the seats are, and even more so when you're at the back. As for safety kit, we get the Driving Assistance Plus package, which essentially comes with AEB, Active Distance Assist Distronic, which is essentially adaptive cruise control, active lane keeping assist, and active steering assist, which basically, all in all combined, enables level 2 semi-autonomous driving. Now, while every new car in the market today has some sort of ADAS features to take the stress of, commuting or highway driving away, I feel that some systems feel a lot more organic than the rest, and the one in the EQS feels as close to about having a very skilled human driver drive the car for you. So, in short, it's very good. So what do I make of the Mercedes EQS 500? Let's say, for example, I'm filthy rich and I'm in the market for a luxury EV. Do I get this, or do I cough up another 90,000 ringgit and go for the BMW i7? Not that that would be a problem. Remember, I'm rich. This or the i7, or maybe even the base Porsche Taycan, or maybe even an Audi e-tron. Decisions. It's not easy, I tell you, being rich. Ultimately, it comes down to the Taycan or the EQS for me, between these two. Yeah, the Taycan if you like driving, because that is a fantastic driver's car. The EQS, on the other hand, is the more comfort-oriented choice. But I just wish it had more luxury. In a sense, it's hard to describe it, but there are some cars you get in and you immediately feel, yep, I feel rich. The EQS doesn't convey that, at least not immediately. But if you want a luxury EV and you must have a silver arrow, then the EQS is your next perfect car. Or, here's a pro tip. Why not try the EQS SUV before deciding? Yeah, and on that note, I think it's time we call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, all this support. It really helps us and we really appreciate it. Alright, thank you everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Drive safe and take care.